All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. Go follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for more Cowboys coverage. You're watching the Cowboys Report presented by BetDSI, and it's time now for our live Cowboys Q&A. So get your questions in the comments section for the live Q&A. Use hashtag Cowboys, and we'll have your questions featured live throughout the show. Keep them coming. I figure we'll have plenty on Kellen Moore. All right, I'm just going to call him Skater Park. If Zeke and D-Law hold out, could we potentially have a Lev Bell situation on our hands? Or do you think Jerry will come correct and pay these boys ASAP? On the DeMarcus Lawrence front, I do think he gets paid. If not, it could get ugly. From Zeke's side of things, we were going to do this on a rumor, but then Kellen Moore got hired, so it kind of threw off the entire show, which is absolutely fine with me. From the Zeke side of things, if he holds out, it only ends up hurting him. So he might threaten to hold out. He might have a last year Bell where he skips a while and then shows up. But remember, Jerry Jones didn't just stick up for Zeke. He went to bat repeatedly against the NFL when Zeke was suspended. I think in the end, that might end up helping Zeke when it comes to it, or helping the Cowboys and Zeke in any potential discussions. From Rebecca Lopez, do the Cowboys have what it takes to make and win the Super Bowl? I certainly hope so. I don't know if they end up winning the Super Bowl. I don't know how realistic that is right now. Let's see what happens after the offseason. But look, even in a bad game against the Rams, they still almost won, right? Like, they got beat up and down the field and were still in it. I think that's a promising sign if you want to believe in the Cowboys. Back to Skater Park. Will Kellen Moore be more creative with the offensive play calling? I certainly hope so. If it's not, then why bother? If the play calling is not more creative, then I think in the end the Cowboys probably miss the playoffs. Garrett gets fired. I'm going to go do a big offseason coaching search focused on the big name guys. Eduardo, I'm open to give Kellen Moore a chance, but if the Cowboys were serious about winning now, I don't think this was a great idea. Yeah, yes and no. I would have preferred an outside hire, but I know the Cowboys are really high on Kellen Moore. I don't think it's a let's groom Kellen Moore type deal. If anything, I think part of the reason why the Cowboys didn't go outside the organization, maybe they're not going to extend Jason Garrett. And if they're not going to extend him, what coach wants to come on and be a one-year offensive coordinator and leave his current job and then get fired once the season's over? Fabian asking, how do I personally feel about Moore being the new OC? I'll try and recap it quickly here for you guys. From where we sat at the end of the year, I'm surprised. It's not that I thought the Cowboys were going to go. I thought they would have gone experienced. I am willing to give it a chance, and I want to give it a chance, and I want to see what Kellen Moore can do. So consider me cautiously optimistic. I'm not declaring this a disastrous hire like I'm sure many in the national media will, and now I know many Cowboys fans feel right now. But there are risks, some upside as well. In the end, let's just wait and see. Fabian again, how will Kitna and Moore impact the Cowboys? My hope is you'll see more new age concepts, i.e. you'll see more play action, more jet motion, more read options, some more, not truly, but kind of college stuff, more of the Dak friendly stuff that we were promised we were going to get this year and then never actually saw. So from that perspective, that's what I hope we see for the Cowboys. More new age stuff, make it truly Dak Prescott friendly. From Steven Dixon 17, draft a tight end or acquire one via free agency. This is a tough question because it depends on who you can actually get. I don't love much of the free agency crop this year. Jared Cook's a little bit old for my taste, coming off his career best year at age 32. That screams regression. I wouldn't mind someone like a Tyler Eifert. Go get him, bring him in, young guy with a heavy injury history. If he's on the field, he's great. What I don't want, and this applies to the draft as well, I don't want someone coming in and just being another number two. If you're going to draft or sign somebody, it needs to be an upgrade or a developmental type. So don't take someone like, Caden Smith, for example, in round 3. Go get either a top-end tight end or roll with Schultz and Jarwin for a while and groom somebody else, maybe a young raw guy like a Dax Raymond, or just don't get a tight end. The Cowboys don't need another number 2/number 3. They need a number 1. So if you find one of those, awesome. If not, you might be just better off standing pat in the end. All right, the Great Malenko. First off, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. If you guys put in a super chat, We promise you'll get on the show. Now, he says, do the Cowboys trade for Earl Thomas? Well, I think you mean sign, because Seattle's not going to be able to trade Earl Thomas, so remember that one. I believe the Cowboys will make a run at Earl Thomas. In the end, I don't think they sign him. I think in the end, he goes somewhere where he gets more money. Earl Thomas will have a choice this offseason. Take less money in theory and play for the Cowboys, or go get paid. I think in the end for Earl Thomas in his last year, I think he ends up, his last big contract, he ends up taking the money. Steven Fields, your caps lock is on, by the way. Would we be able to land Lamarcus Joyner this offseason? He is a possibility. I think he's kind of a notch below Landon Collins, Earl Thomas. I like Joyner. I'm curious to see how the safety market looks here, because the safety market last year was pretty weird. If it comes in really low, maybe you get lucky on a one-year deal, but I would have interest in Lamarcus Joyner if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. Drew Butler. Is Andy Isabella worth a second-round pick, or hope he falls to the third? Sign me up for Andy Isabella in late round 2. I love that idea. He's super fast, will be a great slot receiver. Yeah, he's a body catcher. I don't care. In the end, my fear, actually, is that he doesn't last toward the end of the second round. I could see him being a Sterling Shepard, a guy people thought was going to be a mid to late round 2 pick, that actually ends up going early in round 2. Doomsday Dynasty. Will the Cowboys fire Jason Garrett if he doesn't make it beyond the divisional round? If the Cowboys have the exact same year they had this year, I kind of think Garrett comes back. If they regress, if they get bounced early in the playoffs, if they miss the playoffs, then maybe he gets fired. But for now, I think it's that as long as Garrett doesn't regress, it's either the same or better. If it's the same or better, he ends up coming back. But in the end, I guess we'll end up seeing on Jason Garrett. Still no extension. Maybe there won't end up being one. Duane Booker. Assuming Cole Beasley walks, if there's a tight end, wide receiver, and safety all graded similarly on the board, which do they snag? I think it's the receiver. Because at that point, well, I'll just assume there's no Tavon either. You need a number 3 guy. You can get by with Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, and Jeff Heath, and Xavier Woods. You can get by with those guys. So if it sits the way things currently sit and the free agents don't come back, give me a receiver first and foremost. Nook Nook. Do you think that the Cowboys need more speed like a Tyreek Hill in the slot? I'd like more speed. I would like that quite a lot. I think speed is good in the end, so get me more speed. Let those guys fly downfield. I am all aboard the idea of bringing in more speed. I like someone like Andy Isabella as well. James Laws. Since Hawkinson is projected above Fant now because of his not playing in the bowl game, can we still get Fant in the second round? I actually don't think it's the not playing in the bowl game thing. I think it's that Hawkinson is a really good athlete as well and is a good blocker. Both these guys are great. Some of them will be above Fant. Some will have Hawkinson above Fant. Some will have Fant above Hawkinson. Either way, they're not falling to the Cowboys in round 2. Those guys are going to be round 1 picks. For the first time ever, you'll have 2 tight ends in the same class from the same school go in round 1. Those 2 are going to be early first round picks. So the Cowboys, they're not getting either. Scared Fate. Say hello if it isn't then. I think he's talking about this not being recorded. Well, hello, my friend. This is not recorded. We are indeed live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. Mac, Julian or Gullion? Let me know in the comments section. If I got it wrong, I'm very sorry there. Is Zeke a priority to extend his contract this offseason? I don't think it's a top priority. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is more important, Dak Prescott, heck, even Byron Jones and Amari Cooper, because those guys' deals end before Zeke Elliott's. Zeke is under contract through the 2020 season, and then you got franchise tag options. So from an urgency perspective, it's not that big of a deal for the Cowboys, which is why you've heard some of the buzz about a potential holdout, because Zeke knows that. Best way to get a deal done is threaten to not show up at least a little bit, although I don't know how feasible that actually is for Zeke. Mike M. Considering Garrett's career progression, quarterback coach, OC, head coach, do you think Jerry sees more as a future head coach for the team? I think from Jerry's perspective, he's not looking for a future head coach right now. I don't think that's his mindset now. I think he likes Kellen Moore and he sees a potential for upside for Kellen Moore, but I don't think he's approaching it as a let's give him the OC job and see how he ends up going as a potential as a head coach. Producer Dom, I hate you. Steven Fields, do you think we should have used Brice Butler more? guys, I love you. Give it up on Brice Butler. It's not happening. Brice Butler was not good. He dropped a lot of balls. He was inconsistent, made some big plays. The dude couldn't play for the Dolphins this year. Made one big catch and hardly played. Brice Butler was not a good player. The Cowboys were right to cut him. He wasn't a reliable option. God, I hate you so much, Dom. Gary Boyer, maybe Tony Romo will be the head coach in 2020. So, Romo made the comment that maybe one day he'll coach. He also said, which everyone ignores, not anytime soon. Guys, Romo's not leaving his cushy job right now. He has the best job in the world. Works way less hours, makes way more money. Everyone loves him now. He gets to spend all the time he wants with his family, go play golf every other day at least. Why would he leave that to work more hours for less pay, for more stress, and more hate from the fans? Doesn't make any sense from Tony's side. Adam Uselton, did I get that right? Gerald McCoy, I think is what he means there, for the Cowboys. So I like the idea of adding Gerald McCoy. I really do. I don't know if he'll end up coming to the Cowboys. Again, he is under contract, but he could very well be cut. So I would like the idea of Gerald McCoy if he comes a little bit cheaper, but I think he'll have more money elsewhere, or get more money elsewhere from an NFL team. Matt S., a loyal watcher, thank you, my man. Cowboys, can we draft more of a receiving tight end, play him in the slot receiver, use more 2 tight end sets? Maybe you just use a 1 tight end set, and you still use 11 personnel, go 3 receivers and a tight end, and spread the defense out. Just a thought. I like the idea of a more dynamic receiving threat at tight end. I would have loved Hawkinson or Fant. That's not going to end up happening, but I am very much open to the idea. Summer Shelby, is Zeke going to have as big of a workload next year, or are they maybe going to pace him a bit more? Let me answer that once I see what the running back depth chart looks like. If it makes sense, if they bring in somebody round 4 or so, maybe you do see a little bit more pace. We are kind of, I think, at about the max touches amount that I feel comfortable with for Zeke Elliott right now. He limps a bit, but he never really misses games. So I feel okay with Zeke, and look, I think in the end, maybe the DeMarco Murray comp is the right way to go. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys say, you know what, Zeke? We're going to run you into the ground and then say goodbye. That's why I think Zeke is a bit worried about getting his contract right now. Daniel Julian, good question. Where do the rumors around Sean Payton come from, and what continues to fuel them? You know how like Earl Thomas always tied to the Cowboys, and there was always the rumors about John Gruden coming out? Some things always have rumors. I think for the Cowboys, it's the level of, oh, this is the Dallas Cowboys, the premier NFL franchise. Sean Payton used to coach for them. He and Jerry Jones still get along. Maybe the Cowboys could make a move. In the end, I think it's part of it is reckless speculation designed to get clicks. Now, down the road, if and when Garrett's fired, that's when the rumors start to make sense. But for right now, I don't think they make any sense at all. So they'll continue to be fueled really until I think about the end of time. Eric Morton, what do you think about a guy like Charles Omenihu from Texas to Dallas in round 2? You guys are picking, by the way, my favorite prospects, and I love it. I love Omenihu. I think he'd be a perfect David Irving type fit. Could play some defensive end. I think he might be best at defensive tackle. I don't know if he's there in round 2. If he is, sign me up. I think he'd be a fantastic fit for the Cowboys. Back to Adam again, to Nathan Day. This is funny. I like this one. Jeff Heath takes over on kickoffs. He's got a boot and he can tackle sometimes. It's funny. I am of the mindset, just kick it out of bounds every play. Or kick it out of the end zone every play, excuse me. So it's funny. He can stand on special teams, but you don't need to actually make him the actual kicker. Fraser. Jason Witten would make a good coach. You misspelled Witten, by the way, my friend, which I'm sure was just on accident. Tight ends coach, sure. Anything above that, not right now. Adam again. If Debo, he means Samuel, is available, we have to take him, right? I hope so. I don't think he'll be there, but like Andy Isabella, like Omenihu, I would love to get my hands on Debo Samuel. That is my Cole Beasley Tavon merge into one. Can be your slot receiver, can play outside, and can take care of kick return duties for several years. Dylan Van Pelt, is there a possibility Rod Smith could be moved to fullback if we draft a running back this year? I actually don't know if Rod would like that. And Rod is a free agent. So if he comes back and the Cowboys move him to fullback, I don't think he's going to be all that happy. So just remember that about Rod Smith, just to keep an eye on for. Last question from Keyworth08. If Dak Prescott does not progress this year in 2019, will he be on the hot seat? I think he's shown progression. If he sucks, maybe, but I think it's more likely in the end the Cowboys just end up extending Dak Prescott this offseason. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.